In a Flash by Tracey In. Shut the door, Selena's husband Ren boomed. Selena bolted through the dining room as a torrent of muddy water rushed towards them. With trembling fingers, she quickly slid it shut with a bang, then froze, her eyes wide as debris scratched and knocked on the glass, and their unwelcome muddy visitor slowly crept under the door. How could this happen so fast? An hour ago, Emmett was out on the lawn with his boogie board. Boys, Selena shouted, we need to slow this down, then get out of here. Mattresses felt as light as feathers as they threw them down as a barricade to bide them time. Selena transformed into a sergeant major, barking orders at her family. Like a human cyclone, she threw belongings into their vehicles. Ren gripped his wheelchair for dear life as she raced him out the front door. She quickly helped him into the car, then tossed his wheelchair into the back beside her youngest son, Emmett. Sitting in the driver's seat, she reached to turn the key, then stopped, pausing for a few seconds. Her mind was racing. She turned her head towards Ren, her forehead creased. I feel like we have forgotten something. A few minutes later, they drove into the showgrounds. Her two older boys, Shane and Ben, pulled up beside her. She looked in her rearview mirror at Emmett. His hands were in his lap, his head down. Selena felt for him. She knew he was upset about leaving his toys behind. That's when it dawned on her. I forgot Emmett's diabetic medication, she called out the window. We'll go back and get it, Mum, Shane replied. Selena paced the big shed at the showgrounds, checking her watch. Her stomach felt hollow with guilt when she saw her boys, their jeans soaked to their thighs. Ben handed her the medication. We're not allowed to stay here, Mum. Apparently we don't fit the bill. That doesn't make sense. You have disabilities too. I don't understand. We'll be right, Shane said. The SES bloke said we can have a feed at Alexandra Hall. We'll camp in the ute outside our place. Selena's eyes welled up. They had already lost most of their possessions. Now her family would be separated as well. Sleep was impossible as the thunder crashed around them. The relentless rain hammered down on the tin roof. She tossed and turned, worried about her boys. The following day, they moved to Corinity Our House, a disability service that was taking people in. Robbie's room where they stayed was one big campsite, the floor hidden with mattresses and airbeds. Selena chuckled at the sight of a man walking a black and white spotted cow in the backyard on a rope. Dogs of all shapes and sizes were running around. Selena tied their grumpy big dog to the fence, his tail between his legs. A few days later, Selena woke to a warmth on her face. Over the following days, the floor became visible as people bid their goodbyes and headed home. She knew it was time to go and inspect her family's home. Selena paused at the front door. She took a couple of breaths, then swung it open. The stench of cow manure coated her tongue. She reefed her T-shirt over her nose, spun around, and ran back out onto the lawn, coughing and heaving. She sat down on the grass, hugging her knees, her head down, recounting the past days. Then she looked up and smiled, realising that before all of this, she had not known a soul in town. Faces now had names. So many wonderful strangers had offered food and friendship. Through the devastating events of the 2011 floods, she felt like she belonged and could now call Tugulawa home.